Hi, welcome to Technical Writing Uncensored. I'm here with Rin Oliver, product manager at Max Stadium. He's also contributing to Zero Vector Design and building software for neurodivergent folks. Welcome to the show, Rin.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to getting a chat and dig into technical writing and all things.
Absolutely. So, what does a product manager working on DevOps tools do, and what does that have to do with technical writing?
It's just where I've ended up. It's a long, strange journey throughout my tech career. Basically, I do a whole lot of stuff. I sit in the middle of a DevOps centered product, so I'm doing a lot of discovery and research at various parts of the product stage lifecycle, and just basically getting out and talking to people, building cool stuff. And I'm actually spearheading a documentation migration currently. We're migrating from one docs platform to another. I still have my hands in all things docs. So that's about. I started out my career in tech journalism, went into there from DevRel, then to software engineering, then to technical content marketing, now in product management. It's been a long, long trip.
So, how are you involved in the documentation progress where you work or process where you work?
I am the linchpin of the documentation process. I am spearheading our entire migration from platform A to platform B. I'm doing a lot of the review. I've identified our platform and tooling, doing a lot of the documentation updates and improvements, flagging issues, etc. So it's all basically me. I need to delegate to my fellows, but for now, I am docs guy, so docs person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically just kind of handle that whole thing. I delegate where needed, but we actually moved platforms so that other folks can contribute back to our docs. Our old platform that we were on didn't really have an easy contributor gate if someone saw a docs issue. Now the new platform, you can just open a PR and fix a doc, which is much easier than what we were doing before.
You mentioned to me that you are migrating documentation for the third time in a year.
That is correct. Yes, I did not make that choice. That was
Why?
before I even got here. I don't know. This the people that came before me had very, very strong opinions. They chose a platform. Yeah, we're migrating, unfortunately, time, and that's the person who spearheaded that decision is no longer with the company. They basically did a if all you have is a hammer kind of situation, shoehorned the docs into the platform they'd already signed on kind of thing, even though their only docs offering had no SEO, no actual docs features, etc. You couldn't even jump to an anchor link. Nobody could edit the
Oh,
docs. They were
Jeebus.
invited sort of thing. Yeah, it was wild. So needless to say, you couldn't agents can't crawl the docs, etc. There was no path for anybody to edit the docs if they saw an issue without getting a seat to that particular service. It was wild. So I'm very glad that we are moving into a platform that lets people edit the docs and you can actually jump to anchor text, among other useful things that docs kind of need.
May I ask which platform you're moving to?
We are moving to a Mentify powered, and I can say that.
Yeah, nice. I like
Mentify.
Mentlify. It's got
Yep.
lots of
It's
great
very
stuff
good.
on it.
Yeah, I'm
And that's a
stoked. Love it. And really far. Having a good.
and that is a great segue for how are you using AI in your documentation process? Since it sounds like you are just one person, and even though you don't have the title, you're basically a solo tech writer.
This. Um, I basically use it to refine docs. I don't write the docs per se. I do think that that needs to be done by people. I use it to shore up my writing, make it sound a little better, but use it to help me grep release notes and figure out what's what, go through stuff. And I do have a software engineering background too, so I can do okay on that front. I use it to help me with the more fiddly PRs, the boring ones where it's like, change this icon, this formatting's wrong. It's like 200 something would be ridiculous one person to do. So I send it out and sub agents to do like change this heading, make sure these are formatted correctly, check for broken links, etc. I use usually a particular service, and we have an edit from our org that we're using in particular, LLM provider model. So we use that at work, and it does really well. I'm enjoying it. and I use it at personal projects also. So it's across the board. I use it everywhere.
Good stuff. So your LinkedIn says that you are building software for neurodivergent folks, and you
That is
are
correct.
a neurodivergent folk. So please tell me about that. How does your neurodivergence affect you in your work life?
In my work life, it affects me in a lot of ways. Just too many to name, but overall, just processing, auditory processing, transcripts are great. Would love for more people to use transcripts on Zoom, that sort of thing. I dysgraphia, dyscalculia, autistic, ADHD, anorexia, the list goes on. Anyway, that's just a smattering of the things, but it I know that a strikingly high percentage of people who are autistic are underemployed or not employed at all. So I'm grateful to be employed. Um, and it's really something that I tend to disclose very either organization. I have disclosed it at my current organization, but it is not something that I tend to make people aware of, if that makes sense. Um,
Well, except that now you're getting interviewed for it. So I
that
think,
is true. Yes. Well, now you know. Congrats. Surprise, coworkers. Yeah, well, I think some of my manager knows. If my leadership does listen to this, that would be that's they've I've never had a problem. Like it's never nobody really has said anything to me. I've never really announced it though. I've not like done anything about me. So it's not really
yeah.
it's not really what I lead with. I tend to just like let people get to know me, but because they will say things like, "Oh, I never would have known," and I'm just like, "Oh boy." It's like, well, oh, okay, all right then. That's certainly something. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, you know.
Hmm.
But um, what I'm building basically uh, overall does a few things. I built a little that maybe talk to me with
Yeah, I'm
voices.
having a lot of trouble understanding you. You're breaking up like every few words. Just really frustrating.
That is frustrating. Beautiful. It's a good
Uh,
day. All right. We're just gonna go with my phone. I don't know. I think my work laptop just has too much going on. It just hates its life. I don't know.
I'm sure there's a joke in
It
there
gives up the
somewhere.
ghost. It's just like I don't want to be on the internet. Every time I'm on Zoom, it's just like, nope, I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
And
So,
I'm like, all
you're
right.
talking about how you're what how being neurodivergent affects you at work, and I think it's interesting that you're not the only person that I've seen kind of trying to normalize neurodivergence at the workplace, especially in tech. I mean, I've
Oh,
also spoken with
absolutely.
Liz Arkall, and I think that that's really healthy for us, to be a little
Yeah.
more open and vulnerable and hopefully accepting of each other because we're all
I would
weird.
think so
Okay.
too.
Some of us
Yeah.
just have, acronyms in front of our
Exactly.
weird.
Exactly. And I feel like the things that I'm building, like they're not ready for prime time. They're just little pet projects. I don't foresee any of them ever making any sort of money, and they're open source anyway. So somebody could go fork them and make their own money.
But we're jumping ahead because you are building software for neurodivergent folks. Please tell me
Yeah.
about that.
I'm building a few things. It depends on which thing. I'm building Everbloom Reader, which is an EPUB PDF text to speech reader that also does word synchronized highlighting. It's a work in progress, but if you go to everbloomreader.com, you can check it out. It probably is full of bugs. I'm sorry, but it looks pretty, and it'll read you a
Mhm.
book. If you have a EPUB, a PDF text file, it'll read it to you with word highlighting and dyslexia friendly fonts. This was brought up because my co-parent is dyslexic, and we're reading a book series, and there's no audiobooks past a certain book, and she owns the book, so she doesn't. There's no. I'm 5 books ahead because I am reading the physical version on my Kindle, but she can't read the Kindle, so it's like she's got to wait forever. That's not fair to her. So it's like, well, she has the EPUB, and she can use the Everbloom reader to do it in a voice that doesn't sound like a robot like most of them do. We hooked up Kokoro. it's an open source text to speech model, and you can also hook up like 11 Labs if you got real money. If you
Hmm.
just want to light your wallet on fire, you can use 11 Labs. They have beautiful voices, but it is expensive. And then there's a few other models like Piper and Edge, but theirs are free. I use this principle for Clarion, which is my other project that I'm using to give my AI agents distinct voices because I have a ton of agents with distinct personas and jobs and roles. And in my head anyway, my UX researcher does not sound like my security analyst, does not sound like my software engineering agent. They all sound different. And instead of reading 8 different tiny terminal texts, I can hear 8 different separate voices, and that makes it a little easier for me. And I figured other people might want their cloud to talk to them too, so I built Clarion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what makes this neurodivergent focus tooling as opposed to just people who like to, hear different voices in their heads?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I did that.
basically, yeah, some days audio is the only thing that works for me.
Hmm.
Clarion basically gives the agents distinct voices across multiple backends, no vendor lock-in, no subscription wall. Each agent has their own voice, their own personality. For example, I lock certain voices to certain agents so they always sound the same. And that just adds to the familiarity of working with that agent. It means that I can process that agent's information easier, and it makes that whole experience just better. And I don't have to like hand over my entire paycheck to 11 Labs or something unless I want to. For Everbloom Reader, like I said, it was built for dyslexic readers with human sounding text to speech voices because a lot of the browser based defaults just sound like robots. We've all heard them since forever. And it's just the open dyslexic font support, synchronized narration, no robotic voices, just the story that you paid for. I mean,
Hmm.
own your books, don't pirate. Like that's not saying use it to
Yeah.
rip your books. Don't do that. Another thing that I'm working on is Foghorn, and Foghorn is a software for grief processing, and it's just basically what if software doesn't try to fix grief, just kind of sits with it. It uses daily weather rituals to process ambiguous loss, the kind where, for example, someone's still alive but they're absent for their life. There's no journaling prompts. There's no 5 stages of grief. It's just a ritual that knows the difference between a hard day and a catastrophe, and basically how we're designing for transitions and things such as grief as a state of user experience that we have to account for when we are building software. And the other thing that I'm working on is called Lemon-Tide, and it is basically a planner task tracker that basically reads your energy levels, circadian rhythm, tracks your social battery, suggests tasks that track where you are like right now in this moment, and surfaces patterns over time so you learn your own rhythms without being told. There's no streaks, there's no guilt tripping owls or birds or anything like that. All these apps with the guilt tripping birds. It celebrates starting things instead of finishing them, that sort of thing, and that's the executive function metacognition sort of thing. So basically, these all map to different pieces of a research framework I'm building out called human rhythm design, and these are pillars such as voice, memory, transition, attention, and time. So that's where that comes in.
Hmm. All right.
And basically,
And
it's it builds from the other direction, starting with how autistic, ADHD, dyspraxic, dyscalculic brains experience things like time, memory, etc. And they're built as right now just real tools and research artifacts, and they map a design space that mainstream UX doesn't have vocabulary for. Task management, like I said, that celebrates starting a task instead of finishing it, reading tools that sync to how dyslexic people process speech, and some terms also grief software that treats shutdown as like that legitimate user state to account for rather than an error, because if your software breaks on the worst day of your life, that is a software problem, not a you problem. And
yeah.
basically the framework maps to those 5 dimensions, and I'm looking forward to continuing to build out in this space. And way back in the day in 2021, I was part of uh, the um, the
Write the
WCAG.
docs? Ah,
Yes,
right. Okay.
the Write the Docs. I presented at Write the Docs Portland, and I was also part of the Cognitive Accessibility User Group, writing the WCAG cognitive accessibility like standards for how we track awareness of software onboarding and filing forms, etc. Those sort of things, and seeing we haven't really moved the needle much since 2021, so I'm trying to keep pushing that needle and
Hmm.
figure out how we can do things like reduce cognitive overload, the ethics of giving AI a voice, designing for grief as a user state, that sort of thing.
All right. So, on that note, how, as technical writers, can we make documentation and UX more accessible and useful for neurodivergent folks?
I would say if you have numbered steps, make sure that your bullets make sense. They don't jump around. Like if you're using numbers, stick to numbers. If you're using sub bullets, stick to sub bullets. Make sure that your headings make sense. Make sure that your instructions are clear and they don't just end up just cutting off in random, like in the middle of a sentence. If you're using screenshots, obviously alt text. Describe what you're doing. Make sure that you have a clear picture of what the start to finish is, and that every piece of that is documented. And if it's not, tell people where they can go.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see so many docs that assume that you have a basic level of knowledge that you might not have. There's a quick start guide, and they're like, "Here's these 17 steps," and you're like, "What about step one?"
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
there's
I
no
drive my
screenshots. Yeah,
Oh, I drive my engineers bananas because they're like, of course everybody knows this. I'm like, are you sure?
and it's like,
Are
do
you
they?
really,
Are you
really
sure?
sure?
Yeah,
What if
exactly.
they
It's like, are you
don't?
positive? It's,
Yeah.
and then they're like, oh, well, you just assumed a base level of knowledge. And it's like, whether it's AI or it's a person, you still have to, they're still coming in it with, you're assuming that they have that basic level of knowledge. But what if they don't? What if
Hmm.
they can't start from where you think they can? Where are they
And
going to
that's
go?
actually a great point because the LLMs literally do not have a base level of knowledge. They don't know
Exactly.
anything.
They know
They just know
exactly
what's
what you
on the
gave them and no
page.
more. Yep.
Yeah.
They
So,
only know what's on that page, and that's all they're going to give somebody. They're not going to have what lives in
yeah.
your engineer's head at 2 in the morning. They're going to have the
Yep.
only what's on that page, and if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
So
they might know if you put something in a skills.md file, but then still, that's what you gave them. Or off over there, they might know Python, or off over there, they might know principles of something, but right here, right now, they know what's there.
exactly,
So,
exactly, and that means that you have to keep your docs up to date and treat your docs as you treat code, and
mhm,
it's interesting to see that conversation continue to evolve.
absolutely. And I've been talking all this time, and I realized I did not re-add my pins. That's all right. So, tell me about your process when you're making apps.
Gosh,
Because
I just hit text to speech on Claude and I just word vomit at it and then I'm like, please give me something useful out of this 20 minutes that I've just talked at this thing because I've got my open source work right now, at least for this month, is paying for Claude Max for me, so I'm like burning tokens as efficiently as
nice.
possible. So I'm like, I'm gonna just light this thing, just go for it, do everything, do all the things.
Would you
But
call
I
that
just
vibe coding or is that
not
something else?
necessarily, no, because I'm using the zero vector framework. So there is a design framework in place. The
Mm-hmm.
zero vector framework, you can check it out at zerovector.design. That's what I'm using as the building blocks for the things that I'm working on, just so that I have those rationales in place and everything is clearly, it is not vibe coding. It has distinct pieces of what goes where, distinct patterns and rules that it has to follow and so forth. So it's not just throw something and pray that it works. It has an actual back, like, design framework to it. So
Interesting.
yeah,
What
um,
what have you learned on your app making journey? Because you've made at least 3 apps at this
yeah, yeah.
point. So,
I've definitely learned that there's more to it than like most people would think, and that a lot of times it's like it's easy to get caught up in the dopamine addiction where you have like
mhm.
17 different ideas and it's just like I had to definitely scale it back and be like, I need to focus on like 5 things instead of 20. Because it's like when every idea that you have is the best idea ever and you can just build it, then what? But I also really, I work with artists and I don't use AI for creating art. I do try to source that from, human artists. I don't use it for creating music. Those are my lines in the sand as art, music, and writing, of course. I don't use it to write like full docs. I don't use it to write novels or anything like that. I won't use it in that way. I will use it to tighten my grammar and help me do an outline, but I won't use it to write. I won't use it for art and I won't use it for music. Those are the things that I think AI should give us more time to do.
Yeah. You know what's really trippy though? You and I mean, separate from this video that we're in right now, both have our voice and image on YouTube, which means
That
that
is true.
we have been ingested into one or more LM training
Yeah.
data, most likely. So there's a non-zero chance somebody could be making a video or an image and spit, not even trying necessarily, spit out our likeness, doing who knows what, and we would never know. It
Horrifying. It's
messes
really
with,
horrifying.
yeah, it messes with my head sometimes that
Yeah, it messes with
this is
mine
where
too.
we
That's why I had
are.
to tell my mom, I'm like, if somebody ever calls you pretending to be me, call me. You know,
Oh
like
God,
the way technology
yeah.
is, I'm like, call me because I am not stuck in jail. You can call me first and verify that I am not stuck in jail. You know?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. The education that we've had to do to our for our older generation to try to
Yeah,
make them scam resistant
exactly. And
is
I have a
bad.
child, so trying to get, I hope this whole thing is a lot better than it is right now in terms of education and awareness by the time she's in school. So
Yeah. Yeah. We need some guardrails and
we
some regulation
definitely
on
do.
this
Yeah.
stuff. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
speaking of, what advice do you have for other neurospicy folks trying to figure out this brand new world of AI?
Don't try to do everything at once. Try to just and also like time box yourself. Don't spread yourself too thin. Again, the dopamine thing is wild with this sort of stuff. You can really just get in a state of like super burnout, especially if you have a day job at the same time. Like you can just be burning. You can go from one job to another technically, and just be like, I've worked from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and I'm still going to be working. No, don't do that. It's not. It's not. Like, don't
And
recommend it.
beware of the AI delusions because
Yep. Oh yeah.
that dopamine is literally addictive for some people. It's not
Yep,
good.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'd say also be very skeptical. I always push back on mine, and I tell it things like, "Why did you say that? Where did you find that information? Give me your sources. Critique it." Like I tell it, grill me, like you're like absolutely. I tell it, I never accept the first pass. I'm always like, no, you know, I always try to get it to tell me, how did you do that? What did you learn? What can we do better next time?
I had a
Because
friend who uh, taught me to give my agents permission to disagree with me. And so I made a couple of
exactly,
pod
yeah,
projects, and rule zero is like point out any flaws in my thinking and push back if I'm wrong. You have permission to disagree with me. And my goodness, it made these things like 10 times more useful because it's actually like constructively arguing with me as I'm trying to work through a process and pointing out ways that I might be mistaken and things that I need to consider more deeply and just really helped so much better than, oh, you're brilliant and everything you do is
exactly.
correct
Like
and
I don't want to
happy.
hear that I'm brilliant. Yeah, like I don't need a hype machine. I
Yeah, no
want a
joke.
coworker.
I don't even want a coworker. I don't want to personify my LLMs. I know that some people like to, but I want to keep reminding myself that they are not people, they are just code. They're over there in the box. And I want them to stay in the box and do what I tell them to and don't do weird stuff that I did not tell them to. So,
I personify mine to the extent where I've given them a distinct role and a distinct voice, but that's about it. Other than that, I'm like, no, that's as good as they're getting. They have they're the engineer, the UX persona. They've got their little distinct voice and clarion, and that's about all.
yeah, I way back in the dawn of time when I was working a summer job, I was working for an inventory company and we had these little machines that would sit on our hip and we had the little guns and we would shoot them at the barcodes or SKUs and we'd capture the SKUs and it would make happy sounds, it would make sad sounds. And I swear it was like you felt like you had a pet on your hip. Humans will pack bond with anything, including a
They
thing making
absolutely will.
happy and sad beeps on your hip that doesn't even talk
Oh
to you.
yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's like one of the things that I'm doing with Foghorn is I'm going to be hooking up some LEDs to a vintage lantern so that I can
Ooh.
use Foghorn as a hardware haptic to basically just if it, for example, if the weather's crappy and it makes me feel crappy, the lights will glow different colors. It's a good way to just say, I feel like crap today, and the app goes, yeah, that's fine, and it just sits there and doesn't try to fix it or tell me to write in my journal. You know,
I like
my
that. I
dad
also
didn't call
have,
me, and it made me sad. Software edition. You know,
or you can have the Whimsy Goth edition. I want to feel like I am walking through a moonlit forest with the sun reflecting off the stream and glowing moss.
that's
And
fantastic. I love it.
yeah, yeah, I mean,
That's
there's so
wonderful.
many. I mean, I get you're making it for grief processing, but there's just so many atmospheric things you can do with that. It's
Oh,
really cool.
totally. I'm excited. I'm gonna totally. Ooh, that's yeah. I'm gonna have some fun with that then because I have a lot more LEDs. I
Ooh.
have like 10
Oh,
more LEDs that I can make glow. So I have a Raspberry Pi and nothing to do. So that's my weekend project. It's my birthday tomorrow. So what better thing to do than make a grief light? I mean that sounds great. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Have a
all
grief light.
right. Hey, maybe you can like play yourself happy birthday with LEDs.
That would be delightful. I should do that. That's great.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I should totally do that.
Yeah, I'm serious. Do you have
I
any
might. I never know.
advice? Yeah. Any advice for people
And
who want to solve problems by creating an app?
pick the thing that you've always found as a pet peeve and go with that first because chances are it's not just bothering you, it's bothering somebody else and they're just not talking about it. If it's bugging you, it's probably bothering someone else and they're just not saying it. So I would say, pick something that bugs you every day. You're just like, I wish this one thing was a little bit easier and get started there. And you don't have to have it perfect. You don't have to have it public. You can just push it to a private repo, and if it works just for you, that's okay. Like it's not the end of the world. Like you don't have to build in public if you don't want to, but if you want to, that's great too because that helps other people learn. There's two sides to that. Something can be just for you, or it can be open source. It just depends. I feel like the sky's the limit these days. If you can dream it, you can do it. I feel like also it's important to remember, again, keep the human in the process as much as you can. Don't offload everything to AI. If you need art, call human artists. If you need writing, hire human writers. If you need music, hire human musicians. That sort of thing.
Yeah. And I really like the giving people permission to do something just for them. I mean, I feel like that's in some ways kind of looked down on in the community. Like, how selfish is that? That you're just doing it for you, and that should be something that we normalize as okay.
Yeah,
You,
you're allowed to do things just for your own joy. You're allowed to do things that make you happy and nobody else. That's okay. It's okay if
yeah.
it's just for you.
And although if you put it out, you might end up on Hacker News accidentally.
You might,
You
you
want,
might.
you
Thankfully,
want to tell
yeah,
me about
that
that?
was that was wild. Thankfully, did not go anywhere. I got a few GitHub stars. I got like 5 now. Yay!
Well,
which
you
is
told me
which
you
is
that one of your apps ended up on Hacker News before.
it did
So
it
thanks.
did it got it. It got a few upvotes and I got a few stars and some traffic. So I was happy. I was like, wow, that was actually reasonably successful.
Which one?
It was Clarion. It was Clarion. Somebody dropped Clarion, and I'm like, oh wow. Of all the ones you could have picked, you picked Clarion. Okay, but I guess that's all right. It's okay. It's a fun little project. I mean, people like I posted a little goof reel where the one of my text to speech servers didn't start up, so it fell back to a default, and the voice it chose sounded like a 6-year-old, and I'm like, oh no, there's a 6-year-old telling me why my pipeline's failing. And then the agents gained sentience, and one of the ones that was on the premium models started lording it over the ones that are on the free models. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is a lot. I don't know how to process that. They're like lording it over each other. You guys can stay on your little free tier. I'm like, oh my God, what? I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, our AI overlords came and they sound like a 6-year-old. Oh boy.
I'll send you the video. It's hilarious. It is very funny.
Oh my gosh. Please, please, yes. That sounds amazing.
It's
Oh,
delightful. It was a kick. I was like, oh no, we have to fix this, but it's really funny. This
oh,
ain't it.
it sounds like a great way to prank someone though. Like seriously,
It
next
is.
April
Yeah.
1st, people, up your prank game. You know,
Exactly.
get
Exactly.
Clarion and
Yep.
have all your
Get
bug
crayon
reports
and
read
go.
aloud like a creepy child.
Right. Yep. Do that. That'd be great. Oh my God. Yeah. Just have it be like the voice from like one of the creepy horror movies.
Yeah, like that the poltergeist. Yeah, poltergeist girl. They're
Yeah.
here.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God.
404.
That'd be
Gateway not
amazing.
found.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. That's delightful. I should do that. It's amazing.
Oh, so
That would be so good. Oh my God. Yeah,
oh,
I've told my co-parent that our Alexa used to say now playing Lady Gaga's 911, and I told her that if it ever stops saying the whole number, I'm going to write a little skill that always says it as 911 instead of 911. Because she's I'm like, that's a really specific thing for it to do, but it doesn't. The text to speech does not understand that it's just 911. It just says now playing 911 by Lady Gaga, and I'm like, okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, any other advice for people who kind of want to dip their toes into AI and apps, especially
I
as
would
we're
say just like I said, just get started with something that you think is cool, something that you want to do that's fun, something that you're like. Do you play music? Do you write? Do you draw? Do you paint? Like, keep the human in the loop, but also like use things that make your life easier. Like, are you having trouble with grief? Are you having trouble with attention stuff? Do you want to make your calendar better? Do you want to make reading books better? Do you want, you know, time trackers? Do you just want fun little like stuff on your phone? Like it just you can build whatever you can honestly do these days for whatever platform you're on, iPhone, Android, you name it, browser, it doesn't matter. Anything can be built. Um, and there's a lot of like free resources too. Like if you want to build a game, there's like free texture packs that were drawn by humans, not by AI, etc. Like go look for the stuff that was done by humans and leverage the free tools that humans use that have use for your project.
yeah, and if there's an option, maybe drop $5 to the humans. I know they'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Drop a dollar in the tip jar, click the sponsor button, do the Ko-fi, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, any advice for people dealing with this awful, awful job market? Because we are in a time of layoffs and turmoil and weirdness.
I would say, having been through one in 2024, just keep on, just try your best to keep on keeping on. Just really, no, it's not you. This is not. Oh, this is not a normal scenario. It's not you, and just don't give up. It only takes one yes. I think I submitted, 500 or 600 apps and took just the one yes. And I was only out for 6 weeks, but it felt like 6 months, and it was rough. And then before that, I was out for God 8 months. That sucked. It was rough. I had a side business though that kept me afloat. I made candles in my living room, so it worked out. Um, but other than that, I guess just like leverage your network as much as you can. Figure out who
Mhm.
you know, and that used to go further, but it doesn't really anymore. So you do it judiciously, I guess. That's what I would say. I don't know about this whole hack the ATS screen thing. I don't know if that has any weight to it. I wouldn't write, 9 million versions of a resume. I would never, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna, like, if they want you to record a video, maybe. But even then, I hate that. But if it
Yeah.
depends. There's only, I don't know. I've seen people say that they're thinking about pivoting out of tech. They're thinking about like I took a full pivot. I went when I got laid off. I was a software engineer. I went to technical content marketing. So that was a full
Mhm.
pivot back to what I was doing before, which was DevRel, content marketing, community management. It was a full pivot from software engineering, now I'm back. I'm in product management, so I'm a totally different thing again. But I think it's just take your skills and see if you can pivot them and apply them somewhere else. If you're not getting anywhere in your main track, you're not getting anywhere. See what you can do that's applicable somewhere else. What skills can you transfer to another industry? And if it's worth it to do it, see what you can do and who you can connect with, and see if you can open your other doors for yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, good advice. Thanks, Ren. And
No
thank you for
problem.
joining me here on Technical Writing
Always.
Uncensored. For everyone
Thank you.
watching, If you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Maybe leave a comment about any apps you've made or if you've tried out any of Rin's apps. And I'll see you next time on
Please
Technical
do.
Writing Uncensored. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks, Rin.
Thank you.